All right, guys. Are you all glad to be here tonight? I'm glad to be here. So I've got an interesting trucker story. Does anybody want to hear a trucker story? Raise your hand. Everybody likes a good trucker story. So when I grew up, my daddy used to be a trucker, right? He was a trucker for a little while, and then he quit being a trucker, but he still loved the CB. So Daddy drove this very short, gold-colored Dodge van. Very short, gold-colored Dodge van. It had a Swamp Fox mural painted around the entire thing. You opened it up, there was shag carpet, there was a bar in it, there was a heart-shaped room to the left called the ballroom. And it had a neon sign that said the ballroom. On the front of it, it said, "CBers do it on the air." And the back it said, "If the van's rockin', don't come knockin'." So I'm pretty sure I was conceived in that van. I'm pretty sure that's where it happened. And so if your kids are ever embarrassed when you drop them off to school, you just remind them about the gold-colored Swamp Fox van, and they can't say anything about it, okay? And so I used to sit in that van and talk to the truckers as they go down the road. Like they got about 3 miles on Highway 69, I could talk to them. And it always, and my dad's buddy Igor drove a truck too. So shout out to all the truckers that are out there. We're glad that you're here. We're glad that you're here. People making money with their hands on the wheel. So when our country was founded, there were 2 really important documents. One of them is Common Sense by Thomas Paine. Another one was the Federalist Papers. And those things were not produced or presented by some huge corporation. They were not produced by the government. They were produced by men in aprons, covered in ink. They were making these little pieces of paper and they were being distributed on a wagon from village to village. And the idea of American independence, the thing that solidified the colonists, was the message, which that is our freedoms come from God Almighty, and that that the best form of government is that is individual-minded, meaning that we have rights and freedoms and liberties. They come from God and they do not come from government. And they thought that it was so very important that the very first thing they did after they ratified the Constitution was to do the First Amendment. Does anybody know what the First Amendment says? Freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom to assemble, as we are here presently, freedom to petition your government against grievances. Do we have any grievances for our government? Do we have any grievances at the state level? Do we have any grievances at the federal level? And that's what we're here to do today. Now, it's not the old days anymore. So I'm going to share a few facts with you, if you'll indulge me. Did you know that 90% of the media in the United States of America as of 2011 was owned by 6 companies? Did you know that in Tennessee, the conservative news media is outnumbered 80 to 1? Did you know that? Did you know that when they did a poll in 2014, that only 7% of journalists identified as Republican? Do you think you can get real news from the liberal media that's in Tennessee? Do you think you can get the facts from the media complex? I don't think you can. And so today, the printing press is quite different. It's not like it was back in the 1800s. Today, the printing press is social media. Today, the printing press is you being able to tell your friends through email or through through text message or through something else that an event like this is coming on, or that there's something that you might need to pay attention to. Raise your hand if you have been censored on social media. If you've been censored on social media, raise your hand. Raise your hand if you have posted something that is factually accurate, that has later, a month later, has become common knowledge, but was previously posted as something that was untrue. Raise your hand. So this is what's happening all across the nation, is these corporations and these other individual groups are trying to control your speech. And they're trying to control your speech by limiting your voice. Has anybody been put in Facebook jail or similar free speech imprisonment? Most of you. My fellow inmates, welcome. My fellow inmates. So here we are in the prison of corporate America. So I want to talk to you today about something that you can practically do to make a difference, okay? We come to these events very often, and what we want to do is to be informed. We want to surround ourselves with other people, but we don't know what to do, right? We know we love our country. We know that we're in trouble, but we don't specifically know what to do. Raise your hand if you knew that there is a bill right now going through the Tennessee legislature that will allow you to have free speech on social media and other platforms, just like you do the television.